Dude, I know a lot about big things, if you know what I'm saying. I was really tempted to put, like, my dick on my big things list. But it didn't make it there. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Podcast Material. My name's Ethan.
And I'm Heathrow.
And we're back again this week with another episode of Podcast Material. Thanks for being here. We're glad you're back.
What's up, everybody? This week we're talking about the big things. Last week we talked about the little things. Here we are talking about the big things.
Only feels right.
Dude, what is the biggest thing you can think of? What's the biggest thing you brought? I just want to know right away. What is your biggest thing?
Well, this isn't a thing I wrote down, but when you just said that, I just thought the universe is like as big as it gets and getting bigger.
The universe,
yeah,
right?
And getting bigger. Yeah, the universe, ever expanding.
I think no argument. The observable universe is the biggest thing.
Yep.
It's always expanding.
Yep. It's funny. I just heard about this video game called No Man's Sky. Do you know about this game?
Yeah, I think so. It's like you travel from planet to planet a little bit. You're like a little astronaut.
Yeah.
And you can like explore sort of like galaxies and planetary systems.
Mm-hmm. And there's essentially infinite planets to go to, because the
Infinite
planets are like
planets. Mm-hmm.
generated by a formula and an algorithm and all these things. So like you can literally play forever and go to a new planet every hour and still never be at the same place, which is insane.
It's insane,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
We can't really imagine how large the universe is. So we put it in video game form and try to like play with it and experiment.
Yeah.
Do you have a guess on how many billions of light years the universe is across?
Like from edge to edge?
Sure. edge to edge, right?
The diameter of the universe is...
Right. That's, how do you even ask that question? I guess if the universe was linear...
Right. Imagine if the universe was actually a perfect circle. Maybe. I would guess... You said billions, so I feel like I have to say billions.
Yeah. I didn't mean to say billions. I meant to say light years. This is the problem if I take notes, dude. I have notes here, bro.
I'm gonna guess like 999 billion light years.
999 billion. Okay, I love it. That's huge.
Just topping out of the billions.
moving towards trillions.
Yeah.
Gotta be trillions. No, it's a little bit less. It's 93 billion light years wide.
Just a little less.
Just 10 times less. But.
Yeah, that's wild. 93 billion light years.
Right.
Man, that's crazy.
Shout out to the edge of the universe.
Yeah.
Hope all is well.
I wonder how many like sonic miles, like sound miles that is.
Oh.
Because you said shout to the end of the universe. I wonder how long they would take for your shout to get there.
Oh, the shout out.
Yeah.
When you said Sonic miles, I was thinking like Sonic the Hedgehog miles. But yeah, here we are. We're talking about the big things. They can be physical. They could be, what's the other word I'm looking for on that?
It's like my first thought was to say emotional, but they can be, they can be emotionally big things.
They could be some big emotions. Do we need to talk about big emotions here, maybe?
Probably.
Oh gosh.
We might. They can be like metaphorically big,
Yes.
like
Exactly.
big deals to us.
And that being said, too, if you guys are enjoying these finger guns,
dude, you've been finger gunning all night, dude. All night.
I just had too much coffee.
Is that a side effect of too much caffeine? Is Heath does the finger guns?
Oh,
solid.
Wait a second. If you guys are liking these episodes and these topics so far, definitely leave us a review and a comment. It really helps our podcast reach other people, and we would appreciate it so much.
What were some of the other big things you had on your list, Heath?
Dude, the universe, of course, was on my top list, like right when I thought of it. The top of my list.
I kind of can't believe I didn't think of it before the episode started.
Yeah, interesting that popped up for you, right now.
Out of nowhere.
I came with it hot. I came with it fast.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
It makes a ton of sense.
Right away for me, again, something huge, and I can almost feel it as we're talking about it, is the Pacific Ocean, or just like oceans in general, the mass amount of water.
Yeah.
I feel like this is an episode on the big thing, so I did the most amount of research. This is my longest note.
Nice.
I'm scrolling through my note real quick. The Pacific Ocean covers 40% of the Earth's surface. Oh, more than 40%.
Damn, just the Pacific Ocean alone. That's crazy.
Right, over a third.
Whoa, that's wild. I mean, I feel like all of us have probably heard it said, like, we know more about space than we do about our oceans, you know?
So deep.
Yeah.
So deep.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I think of like a swimming pool, right? Like a swimming pool, that's a lot of water. Even a swimming pool is really big, and when you wade in the swimming pool, you can almost feel it. You know, if you sit and think about it, you can feel all the water around you.
Sure.
But imagine doing that with the Pacific Ocean, just being like damn, huge body of water, dude.
Yeah, it's massive. It's massive.
Yeah.
Pacific Ocean definitely scares me not to be messed with.
Oh, absolutely. Even a pool scares me a little bit. Like, I'll be in the middle of a pool and be like, wow, okay. Be careful.
Yeah.
Be careful.
Yeah. Oh, man. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I saw a video today of, like, one of the first ever recorded gigantic squids. And it was a baby. It was a little baby gigantic squid. It was still, like, pretty huge. I guess they can get to like 40 some feet long, and this one was like, you know, maybe like 6 or 7 feet long.
Dang.
Which is like cool. Okay.
Which is still really, really large.
It's wild. One of mine is actually similar, and I'm a big fan of whales. I think whales are super cool. They're super smart.
Yeah.
You know, in the last episode, I talked about orcas a little bit. Like, if I wanted to be
I was going to say, you chose to be an orca.
Yeah.
You chose to be an orca as a sea creature.
Yeah, and they're not technically whales, you know, but
Right.
I am a big fan of just whales in general. I remember being like a kid growing up in New York City, and we'd go to the Museum of Natural History, and in one of their exhibit halls, they have a blue whale on the ceiling. And it spans the length of the entire exhibit hall. And so you can just really see and feel how big the blue whale was. And I remember just being a kid and being like in awe of thinking about that thing just like in a natural environment. Like, yeah, like this thing is huge, massive. Like, it's as big as
walking around a blue whale.
Yeah, it's crazy. And whale sharks are in there too. Whale sharks are super cool, really friendly. Yeah. To humans, you know, and just huge. It's a big thing.
I really love the asterisks on that. Like, really friendly to humans.
I feel like I had to say to humans. I don't actually know what they eat. I assume it's fish.
Yeah, fish or krill or something.
Yeah.
Krill, not so much.
No, little tiny.
Definitely.
Well, I was also going to say,
not friendly.
Wales, the country, pretty small.
Oh, sure.
Right?
Oh, darn.
As far as countries go.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. This is something I was thinking about a lot while thinking about these topics. The little things and the big things is they can kind of be both, depending on which scale you're observing them on.
Yeah, it's all about perspective.
It's really about perspective, dude. I brought up water in the last episode of being a little thing that I take for granted, but we realize it can also be a really big thing for other people.
Yeah, I put it on my list of big things. Mostly, like, I put some of the other things I put on there that kind of are combined together are like water, safe housing, and food. You know, like the core things of like Laszlo's needs. You know, food, shelter, and clean water to drink. And
definitely.
We definitely live in a place where we can kind of take those things for granted, but we're definitely in the minority in the world with that.
Absolutely. That's on my list also, dude. Survival.
Nice. Yes.
It's big. Yes. The essentials, you know, and the finger guns.
Dude, keep them coming, man. Keep them coming.
I realize this topic might get deeper And maybe let's keep it surface a little bit with some larger items. I've got a few more larger
Cool.
things.
Larger
here.
big things.
Larger larger items. You already did talk about whales.
Yeah.
Whales are big.
Yep. Big whales.
Dude, keep stealing my topic.
Did you say whales too?
No. Just a second. Dude, you're cracking me up. Okay, this is a mini quiz. I think I brought a mini quiz.
Okay. You should add some theme music. Add some quiz show music.
Damn, putting pressure on the editor.
You can edit that out. Okay, I'm ready. I love a pop quiz.
Okay, dude, you already answered it. The biggest animal?
Blue whale.
Blue whale. You did it. How about the biggest desert? What do you think the biggest desert is?
Oh, it's like is it Antarctica?
Yeah, it's Antarctica, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. 3.5 billion acres.
Damn.
Billion acres.
Billion?
3.5 billion
That's
acres
crazy.
is the Antarctic desert. The Sahara Desert is 2.3 billion acres. So pretty big difference. They're both pretty massive.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the Sahara on the map is crazy. It's just like a swath of just like sand colored land, like there ain't shit there,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sure there's some stuff there, but it's not looking good if you plop down in the middle.
Certainly dry.
Yeah.
All right, I think we all know the biggest mountain. I was hoping for a new biggest mountain, but it's still the same as the
like
90s.
It's like a horse race. like K2 is on the rise. It's pushing.
Maybe in the grand scheme of things, like in the whole light year spectrum,
Sure. Yeah. Actually, dude, I heard Neil deGrasse Tyson say this. I don't remember when I heard him say it, so whatever. He said that if you zoomed out of the Earth and you were able to turn the Earth into like a marble, or like shrink it down. Sorry, you were able to shrink it down. It would be the smoothest marble to ever exist.
Right.
Which is just insane because you're like thinking about mountains and the deep valleys and all that, but still, like, it doesn't matter when it gets super small because it just becomes nothing. Those mountains, like Everest, is nothing.
Right.
Compared to how big the rest of the world is.
Everest should have been on the small things episode.
Yeah. Put it in its place.
Damn, this is really just a 2-part episode on perspective.
Yeah, totally. Totally.
Wow. For some reason, I was kind of scared to talk about this. I was scared of this episode a little bit.
Big things?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're big and scary. Big and scary things.
I gotta go.
Don't be scared, dude. Don't be scared. I do feel like little things is like easier to talk about.
Dude, this is a short episode.
Was that the end of your quiz?
Dude, this quiz is super long. Okay.
Sick.
All
right, I'm settling in.
Can you name the biggest troll on the West Coast?
The biggest troll?
The largest troll.
Is it the one in Seattle under the bridge?
Yeah, I think it is.
Nice. That's like the only troll I know.
It's the Fremont troll.
Nice.
Under the Fremont Bridge.
Nice.
It's a big public art in Seattle. If you guys are ever in Seattle area, check out the troll. It's big. Felt like it was
Yeah. Are there other trolls? Like, what other trolls are there?
That's the only troll I know of. Actually, there's a few more, but they're really, really small. I've never
Tiny
seen trolls. I guess that is actually the end of my quiz.
Oh, sick. Super long, super large 4-question quiz.
Well, what happened was I gave you all the facts.
Oh.
I forgot it was a quiz. It was like a list of facts.
I gotcha.
Yeah, I was going to sort of make you guess a little more, but hey, this is how podcast material goes.
That's right.
Sometimes you have a plan. Sometimes you have a plan, and it just, I don't know.
And it
pivots.
Yep. That's funny. Dude, I know a lot about big things, if you know what I'm saying. I was really tempted to put, like, my dick on my big things list. But it didn't make it there. It didn't make it there.
It didn't make it. It didn't make it.
It didn't make the cut.
For sure. It was in between. Yeah.
Oh, man.
I got you.
Dude, one thing that I have on my list is I'm a big fan of big trees. I love being surrounded by just like massive trees.
Totally.
And here in the Pacific Northwest, we obviously have some huge trees. Douglas firs. Here's a fun fact: Douglas firs it's the Oregon state tree, and they are the second tallest tree in the world.
Wow.
Yeah. Do you know the first tallest?
The first tallest tree it's got to be like, it's got to be the giant redwood or like a cedar.
Yeah, yeah. Giant redwoods. They're sequoia.
Sequoia,
Yeah.
the giant sequoia.
Yeah, yeah. I've been through that like national park when I was like 14 or 15, and actually it was like life changing as a 14-year-old. You know, that we were on a family road trip, and my stepdad was like so excited to get there, and I was like a grouchy like 14-year-old, like being like, whatever, like who cares, they're just trees, like nobody cares, like I don't care about trees, they just are just plants or whatever. And then we got down there, and there's just like a picture of me as like a 14-year-old, just like mouth open, like eyes wide, just like staring at these trees, like, oh,
Lord.
yeah.
Hell yeah.
Just like life, like captured the life-changing moment. Is pretty sick. So I was at the park today with with my kid, and there's a park near our house that just has massive Douglas firs kind of all around. We're hanging out there. It was pretty neat. So maybe
Awesome.
think of big things.
Absolutely. And especially as a kid, I had a similar experience going through the sequoias, just being like, whoa.
Yeah.
I wish we would have taken more time to appreciate them. But that's great for little ones because, man, they're so tiny, and then the trees are huge. Good
Yeah,
times.
yeah. Just like how, you know, when you're like a kid and something seems so big to you, you know, like I remember that huge slide, and then you're an adult and you get there and it's like a pretty average slide. You know, it's like, this is,
Yeah, yeah.
this is not a big.
Like, dang, give me something bigger.
Yeah, it really is that perspective thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Definitely. All right, man. Trees were not on my list.
Oh, nice.
So you didn't steal. You
Nice.
didn't steal
Didn't
that
have
one
to
from
steal
me.
one from you.
I did not. Another thing on my list is, man, I've only got deeper big things here.
Okay.
You know, they're
Yeah.
a little deeper.
Yeah.
Trying to find one more surface deep, one more surface big thing. Dang, got the blue whale, dude. Mount Everest, unfortunately.
Sniped.
Yeah, man. Do you ever think about sometimes we're made of the same stuff as stars?
Yeah, totally.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. I feel like sometimes that's like a really comforting thought, you know? Like sometimes it can be really comforting to be like, cool, we're just made of the same stuff that all the universe is made of, and we'll just go back to being made of that
Yeah,
when we move on, you know?
absolutely.
So sometimes that's really comforting and like a good perspective to have of like whatever I'm worried about right now matters to me in this moment, but like it really doesn't matter. You know, like not like, but then you can kind of get dark and it's like nothing matters, you know, like none of this matters, and it can just go to like a really dark place and get like pretty sad and depressing. So it's kind of like you gotta know when to dive into that feeling, or when to be like, no, not today, not right now. We're not thinking about this right now.
Yeah, I agree. There's that edge. Of nothing matters versus, yeah, everything's connected and is pretty insignificant. But there is a lot of meaning in everything, and I think the meaning is where we place it.
Mm-hmm,
and
totally.
I think that's really true even with the good things in our life and the bad things in our life. It's like we place focus and energy in those areas, and they sort of come true. It's not, I don't agree with the idea of manifesting. Manifesting has so much baggage around it.
Sure.
But I do believe it's like focus. Where are you placing your focus? What do you, whether you know it or not, subconsciously or not, like what are you focusing on and what are you feeding? And that's what's going to grow in your reality.
Totally.
For this brief moment that we exist.
Yeah. Yeah. I can get behind that. Completely.
You know?
And like either direction, right? Like in the negative or on the positive. Like if you dwell on the negative, that's what you're going to get. You don't, you aim for the positive and the growth, and that's what you get. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I do totally agree with you that like the term manifesting has kind of turned into something different from
It's
what it
something you
actually
buy
is.
now.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's something you purchase. Like if you're going to learn how to manifest your reality, you go learn from a coach or buy their book.
Or like people are paying like thousands of dollars to go on like ayahuasca retreats or like things like that to like get an experience into like quote unquote enlightenment. And I know a lot of people that have done those things and have had great experiences doing it, but like, is it shallowed because it's so accessible now? Right? Like
That's the question. Exactly. I think that's why manifesting sort of feels icky a little. It's like, what's happening? Am I going to try to sell you a course? You're going to go click the link and learn how to manifest, or What I'm really trying to express is just you're already manifesting whether you notice it or not. A little, I mean, fully.
Yeah. I feel like I'm pretty bad at manifesting positive stuff. You know, like I feel like there are like big moments of gratitude, you know, where I'm like I feel really happy about where I am. Where like I can be like really negative about where I've landed in my life, and then have these like big moments where I'm like super happy and realize that I am where I've always wanted to be. But I'm not very good at like picturing my next thing and then like trying to envision that, you know, like maybe that's just like I don't have a ton of goals. Like there's not a lot that I'm like or like actively envisioning past where I am right now, you know. So it's tricky when people like talk about manifesting. I'm like, I don't even know what I'm trying to manifest for, you know?
Yeah. That's the trick of manifesting is like, it's not something you really do. Cause I agree with you. I'm not very good at that either. I'm not necessarily good at being like, I'm going to manifest all this money. Like when I think of manifesting too, I think of money, or I think of like success, or I think of career work, or I think of, all of these come back down to like safety and survival.
Yeah.
So like a nicer house, a more comfortable place to podcast, you know.
Yeah, I need to start like, manifesting for new headphones.
Dude. Right. So, you know, it's not that. It's not necessarily that. It's like I'm waking up daily and I'm deciding the things that are important to me moment to moment, whether I realize it or not. I'm manifesting this moment, and it's just a big thing. It's kind of just wraps into consciousness and the universe and how we operate day to day. And I was working with a life coach this year a bit to just sort out my thoughts and sort out my trajectory a little bit. Like, what do I want to do with my brief existence? And it really brought attention. Us as humans can just operate on autopilot as far as like our subconscious is. We can just wake up, do the things that we're thinking we need to do, have the stresses that we sort of think we need to have. It's a bit of autopilot, and where can you notice the autopilot in your life and maybe just make small changes to stop doing things you don't love?
Sure. Yeah. The autopilot that's real for sure.
Yeah.
Right?
And thoughts.
Yeah.
Yep.
Society's telling, like what you just said, society's telling me what to worry about. And so I'm going to worry about it. And usually it's like, yeah, okay, I do need that thing, but it's not necessarily worth the stress that society's putting on you and you're putting on yourself to then worry about, you know, like frantically getting control of that piece of your life or obtaining this thing that is going to like bring you, you know, happiness or contentness or whatever it is, right?
Yeah. Or safety. Or make you, totally.
Dude, I had this moment years ago when Gina and I bought our first car together. We bought like a CRV, and we bought it, and we were like, cool. And we both just instantly were like, this is probably the car that we're going to have like a kid in, you know, like there'll be like a kid in this car one day. And I just like pictured, I think we said it out loud to each other like one time, you know, like this will be great for like a family camping trip or something like that, because we had talked about having kids. And then, you know, I would always like picture that, like when I was driving around, I like pictured there being like a kid in the back seat, or we'd be driving to the beach and it'd be like one day there's going to be like someone like barfing in the back seat while we're driving to the beach, or like some, you know, like there's going to be crumbs everywhere. You know, like this car's going to get fucking destroyed, you know, like, and then there was a day where, you know, our kid was in the back seat, and I hadn't really thought about that feeling before, or that I had thought about it before. And then it was happening, and I was like, this is, like, it wasn't deja vu, because I feel like I've experienced that before, but it was a different kind of, like, it felt like manifesting in a way. Like, it felt like that had happened. Like, the thought that I had came true in that moment, and it was a really cool, satisfying moment where I was like, damn, this is cool, you know?
Because you were putting so much intention and focus there. It's one of your biggest things, right? Like you're, basically manifesting, without another word for it, of just like, having this kiddo, raising up this boy.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Actually, there was another moment too that I'll just share. Like, I feel like going back to the feeling of like society pushing you this way or pushing you that way. You know, I feel like I've focused so much on how, you know, I don't make the amount of money that I want to make, or I don't have this, and especially watching like some of my other friends be like massively successful in their business, and their family life and all these things, and like, or at least they seem really happy, you know, with what they've been able to accumulate, right? And so I've always kind of measured I mean, I feel like this is natural. Everybody kind of measures themselves off of the people around them in their lives, right?
Yep.
And I had a moment when my son was probably like 1.5, and he was, you know, he was walking around and he was kind of chatting and saying basically nothing, right? Just like 1-year-old blabber. And Gina was in the kitchen cooking dinner, and there was music playing, and they were just laughing together. And I was sitting in the living room doing something, like maybe cleaning up some toys or something. And just like the sound and like the energy in the house was like the moment that I had envisioned having that kind of family. You know, like it was like, cool, this is like why we did this. This is like where I want to be, but I've been too stressed out thinking about the things I don't have to realize that I'm like actually exactly where I always wanted to end up being. It was like this crazy feeling. And I remember like crying a little bit, just like to myself, you know, and then I went in and Gina was like, "Are you crying?" And I was like, yeah. You know, but it was cool. It was cool. And that was another like kind of like manifesting piece where I was like, this happened. Like
It's really neat how these moments solidify that feeling for me of, or just the recognition of we are manifesting what is happening in our life.
Mm-hmm. Or we're just in more control than we think we are.
Yeah. Like our intention matters. And that goes back to the way back point of like thinking of how we're made of stardust and how nothing matters because we're all here for a blink of a moment. But everything really does matter. Whatever you're putting your intention into, whatever you're focusing on, you know, whether you're focusing on you don't have enough money, when in fact, if you took a moment to focus on how you do have everything you need, you're sitting in your living room with your family and everything you envisioned, and you're safe and you're about to enjoy a meal, and that's a lot more than some people can say.
Yeah, so definitely. That's a good summary. Sum that up well.
And I think one more point is the media that we ingest. Something that I really took away from the life coaching that I did is to take a moment in the morning and the evening to just monitor the media that's coming into your face, because it can really send you on a trajectory for the rest of your day or for the rest of your night. And it's worked for me pretty well. I have pretty chill mornings. I have a nice, and this is true for me. I've manifest like a really open and relaxing schedule where I can just, have a lot of rest time, have a lot of like chill mornings and work when I want to. And that's what I've always wanted. I've always wanted a flexible schedule and just being able to say what I do each day.
Yeah. Rip bong at 9 a.m. You know,
Rip bong at 9 a.m.
Wake up, freedom to do that whenever you want. You know,
dude, live on TikTok. If you guys want to listen to me rip bong at 9 a.m. Again, I'm gonna plug myself real quick. Heathrow's Garden on TikTok. It's a lot of fun. We do mornings. We do a lot of different stuff, but I'm out there in the mornings ripping bongs. So come say hello.
And speaking of things that don't matter, we're super glad you're here listening to our podcast.
Yes.
We started doing this because we just had these random conversations, and we're super happy that we get to share them with you.
Absolutely.
And that's a little thing and a big thing. So we're super glad you're here. If you want to follow us along, we're on Instagram and TikTok, Podcast Material. And YouTube as well. And you can listen where you're listening right now, whether that's YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify. Hell yeah. And your big things to us.
You guys are huge.
Each one of you is a star.
Potentially, yeah. Yes. In the Podcast Material universe.
Yeah.
Nice, dude. I'm just gonna check off that call out of Ethan on our agenda today. Ethan did that.
I did it. I did one. Dude, I have one more.
What's next on the agenda? Hold on. Sorry. Yes,
sick, dude. Sick. Sick.
Sorry.
I have one more big thing that's not deep. It's actually kind of shallow. So we'll kind of swim back to the shallow end of the pool here. I kind of like big crowds.
You like big crowds?
I do kind of like big crowds.
Wow.
I like being in like busy places. Not always, you know. Like
Okay.
I wrote down ballparks.
Gotcha.
I love going to like walking into like a stadium and just having like all these people that are there to like do the same thing as you, you know. So like the idea of walking into like a baseball stadium or going to see a basketball game,
yeah,
and everyone
like
or
a
like
shared
Timbers
interest.
games, everybody's like chanting, having a good time.
Yeah.
It's like really excited to be there. I love.
That's a big thing,
dude. I feel like I'm the only one that would ever say this, but I love walking the concourse at games. Like sometimes, you know, like wading through the crowd of people, trying to like get my way through, get where I'm going, just like seeing what everybody's up to. It's kind of like walking and people watching at the same time.
You guys need to see Ethan at a sporting event. He is the person constantly talking over the crowd, being like, "Hey, buddy." He's the "Hey, buddy" guy.
Totally. That's totally who I am.
Fully going through, just being like, "Go Mets" or whatever. "Go Blazers, come on." Like booing at the other opponents.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like the people wearing like Kobe jerseys, you know, and whoever else is booable in his opinion.
Everybody that doesn't play for my team is booable.
Dude, this man will boo you in a moment.
Yep. And sometimes I boo my own team if I have to.
Man, we need to get podcast material on the road. We need to go to a sporting event. We need to hit the road.
Dude, I am a booer. I'm a booer. I have often been told that I come as a shock at the first sporting event I attend with people.
Yes,
I had some
that would
friends
make a lot of sense.
I had a friend who she was a very positive overall person, and we went to a Blazer game together, and she didn't know anything, and I didn't think to warn her because we've been friends since high school, so she just should know who I am at this point.
I'm so sorry for you.
And in the first quarter of the Blazer game, she was just like, "You're a booer." You know, she was like, "I don't like this." And I was like, "I am who I am. I am who I am. You came here with me.
Dude.
You don't have to leave here with me, but I'm staying." You know?
Dude. This man is a big crowds guy. All right.
Crowds. Mostly in like what I said, kind of like the shared interest, you know?
Yeah.
Or even like going back to the days when I lived in New York City or being in big cities, like walking through crowded sidewalks. Like I'm really into like finding my way through, you know, fastest route to around these slow walkers with these people. I feel like it's different if it's like a confined space, like a grocery store, or like the lanes on a freeway, you know. But I feel like walking through like big crowds of people, there's something about it I enjoy.
Man, I'm just gonna say it, you're aggressive.
Yeah,
you can,
no doubt.
It's a space that you can be aggressive, man.
Yeah, I can show my true form.
You can show your true form. You just kind of come through. You're just like, yeah, let me aggress.
Yeah. But I don't push anybody else out of the way. You know, I'm just like finding the gap and hitting the gap.
Siri, relax. That's true. But you are booing at people as you go by. So
sure.
It doesn't hurt anybody.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt anybody, but it is like, what?
Oh yeah. Usually it's like a friendly-ish boo, you know? I don't feel like I boo people right to their face. I'll say something that like maybe a little comical if I can, a little witty.
Sorry, dude. We got cats in here all the time.
Tobin.
This
nonstop.
This podcast studio is overrun by cats. Tobin, no. God damn it, Tobin.
Dude, that's the maddest I've ever seen you get at Tobin. Binyasa.
Maybe I'll let my anger out on this podcast. We'll see. Okay. You've been letting your anger out. I might as well.
Dude, I'm ready for it. I'm waiting for it.
Okay. We covered all the surface things, I think. Oh, one more surface big thing. Shout out Big Pumpkin on TikTok. Big pumpkins. This person grows big pumpkins. They're huge.
Are they the biggest?
Potentially, yeah. There's competitions.
Yeah. I've seen these pumpkin growing competitions. They're insane.
Big pumpkin competitions. So on TikTok, I found this person, Big Pumpkin. I've been following them for a while. That's why I like. And their videos are actually like, their videos are very artsy and very calming, and it's just huge pumpkins with a little bit of comedy mixed in. You can kind of laugh a little bit, but you're also just relaxing with these big pumpkins,
big old gourds.
So Oh, it's so interesting, dude. And he puts like sand under them so the bottom of the pumpkin doesn't rot.
Oh,
And he
smart.
puts like a little soda can next to it so you can see like how big it is for scale.
Cool.
Big pumpkin.
Nice. Shout out. Fan of the show. Friend of the show.
Friend of the show. I'm a big fan of Big Pumpkin. If you would ever, Big Pumpkin, if you're listening,
Oh, imagine.
we'd love to have you on.
Yes. Yes, dude.
Oh wow.
Could you hear that?
Yeah.
Whoa. It's like a frog in my throat. I thought it was in my stomach, to be honest.
That was mine. That was my throat.
It was yours? I felt like it was mine.
Wow. Whoa. That was mine. You heard that?
Yeah, I thought it was
Yeah.
me.
No. Exactly. No, it was me. It was me.
That's crazy.
Hopefully the listeners heard.
Dude, I heard a thing today that 50% of people don't have an internal dialogue.
50% of people don't have an internal dialogue.
Yeah. So when I definitely do. So when I'm thinking about things, I like can hear my voice in my head kind of like talking through stuff. Like as I'm having thoughts, I'm like hearing this. It's not like a narrator where I'm like, "Oh right," and Ethan walks into the kitchen and opens.
No, it's just
you know?
you inside your head, like walking through the steps almost.
Yeah,
or
processing shit. You know,
processing
like,
shit. Yeah.
Or like if I'm like laying in bed, like thinking about something, I like hear there like is a voice, but it's like my voice thinking through stuff, right? It's not like voices in my head necessarily, but like it's so it's really interesting to me to be like, what is happening in everybody else's heads?
Silence.
Like, is it like
That would be peaceful.
would it?
I think it would be peaceful.
Yeah.
My head is certainly not silent.
No, mine. Yeah,
My head can talk shit, actually.
no doubt. I feel like if you have an internal monologue, it's probably talking shit to you. Like in general.
That's part of my work that I did with my life coach.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, what did you say? Internal monologue?
Yeah.
Yo, that's kind of crazy. All right, I hear you. But yeah, that's wild. 50% of people don't have an internal monologue.
So I'm curious, if you're someone that's listening to us right now and you feel like you are in that camp where you don't have an internal, monologue or dialogue in your head, like what, when you think about stuff, how?
Yes.
How are you
Tell us
processing
how.
that?
I don't feel I'm part of that camp at all. My internal monologue is potentially always going until I open my mouth. Then it comes out. The internal monologue is then externalized, and then when I stop talking,
It's back in your head. Right. I actually, dude, I heard when I first started working in like the camp world, we had this guy who does like like team building exercises. He works for a company called Synergo. Shout out Synergo. They build all the challenge courses kind of on the West Coast. So they do like like big platform style challenge courses where you like climb off and jump off of stuff, or big swings, big stuff. But they also do, and they use those in terms of team building. And he was the guy that created the whole company. It's this massive company up and down the West Coast. And I think they have a bunch of places in Utah too. Anyways, and he said something that was really interesting to me. He said that in his opinion, the biggest mistake that humans ever made was starting to talk to each other. And I found that I was 18 when I heard that for the first time, and I was like, that was so profound to me, right? That like so much can get lost in the words that we speak, right? Because most of communicating is actually not verbal communication. It's something like, the words we use are not at all the entire message we're trying to give to somebody.
Yeah.
And so it's which is why texting is so fucking hard. But like that was really, as an 18-year-old, that was super profound to me. Now I don't think we could have the world we live in, or have our relationships, or be like the animals, the societies that we are, without speaking, obviously. Right? I think the world would be an incredibly different place. But it was really interesting to think about the idea that using language makes things harder.
As someone who dislikes to communicate, I agree.
Sure.
We should all just stop with the communication.
Get rid of the talking, get rid of the breaks.
just some hooting. Hooting and hollering.
Okay,
So,
okay. This is great. This is great. If you had to choose an animal sound to communicate as.
Did you have this question loaded?
No.
Oh, nice.
No.
Nice.
No. If you had to choose an animal sound as the way that you communicate, like everybody's talking as an animal, right? The whole world has to pick an animal sound. What animal sound are you talking as? You said hoot, and so I was like,
I was gonna say hooting and hollering. I think it's like
so like a howler monkey.
I was gonna say definitely some type of monkey with a good hoot.
Nice, a good hoot. A good hoot. Dude, have you ever heard a howler monkey?
Not in person, not IRL.
They're wild. They're wild.
Where did you hear them? Did you hear them IRL?
At the zoo, yeah. When I used to volunteer at the zoo in high school, they were most active in the morning, and we would get there like 7, and we would be like setting up the petting zoo right outside where the howler monkeys are, and we got really good at howler monkey impressions.
Nice.
I absolutely cannot do one right now because my baby is sleeping in the other room, and you like have to do it at full volume. But maybe at some point I'll release the howler monkey impression. It's crazy. It's a crazy sound. It's a crazy sound.
Please do. Yes.
Nice. Okay, so some kind of monkey, some kind of howler.
Some kind of howler. Nice. I might be waving my hands around a bit. Yeah.
Just like whatever you do if you do like monkey sounds, just like don't fling your poop at anything. You know, like you don't.
It's part of the communication, though. I think. Like we're talking about communication and how you know
some body language.
What kind of totally. What kind of like animals? What kind of animal communication would you have? It's certainly some type of monkey.
Oh, nice. What
about you? What's your animal communication?
I don't know. Shit. I feel like some kind of bird would be cool. Like not necessarily an owl, but just like some kind of chill, like I don't know. I feel like some bird sounds, some kind of like high pitched kind of songbird style thing, you know?
It could be a parrot. Parrots can even say words.
That'd be cool. I don't know what sound like parrots actually make, but
they only say words.
They only talk. Oh man. Yeah, I feel like bird sounds. Cool. Birds can be super expressive, so cool. Yeah, that's what I thought at first.
Sick, dude.
Yeah.
These silly questions, these are great. I brought a few silly questions. I'm going to ask you a silly question. I felt like you asked me one.
Let's go.
There's nothing stopping me.
Nobody's in your way, dude. Release your inhibitions.
Thanks a lot, Cheryl. And
wait, hold on. Did you say Sheryl?
Sheryl Crow? No.
Are you trying to tell me that you think Unwritten is sang by Sheryl Crow?
Is it? I'm sorry.
I gotta go.
It must be Natasha then.
Yes.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay. It's fine. It's fine.
You're a millennial, dude. You have to know this.
Here's the thing, dude. I don't acknowledge celebrities or their names
because you can't know them. Cool. I'm glad you got there. Dude,
Sheryl Crow's great too.
She's
Are you
great.
sure it's not Sheryl Crow? Are you sure she's not featured? She didn't write
Definitely
or anything
not
on
featured.
That? Come on.
No. I'm glad you went Natasha.
We'll have to look this up.
I think it's really funny that they're
glad you went Natasha.
It's really funny to me that they are almost connected because they're kind of like different. They're pretty different in my mind. But I'm glad that you pulled that one out.
Here's what it is. I think it's is it Girls Just Want to Have Fun? No.
That is a song, but
sorry,
but I don't think that's by either of them. Maybe one of them covers that song.
Dang,
you're verklempt over there, bro.
Fully verklempt, bro. Fuck me.
Got your schwitzing. Oh my god, dude.
In a previous episode, we asked, we talked about super villains.
Yeah.
I'm fully verklempt. We talked about.
Okay, yeah, super villains.
When's our next meeting, dude?
Put it on the schedule right now. Oh man.
Yes, in a previous episode, we talked about which villains we would be. Let's go the other way. Which superhero would you be, Ethan?
Ooh.
What's your superhero?
So this is like
choice?
Different than like my favorite superhero.
Yeah.
Right? Because. Okay. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Spider-Man. I feel like Spider-Man's always been my number one.
I guess to answer your question, it's got to be favorite / who you would be.
Okay. I feel like I would be Spider-Man was going to be my answer for both. I feel like that's a pretty generic answer, but like Spider-Man's my favorite. He's just like a kid, you know. He's just like a teenager who gets dealt this hand, right? This hand of like having to fit the specific mold, and then he doesn't really want to do it, right? But with great power comes great responsibility. R.I.P. Uncle Ben. You know, like it's just he has to wear this burden, and I feel like he does it so well. And the city doesn't embrace him, but he like keeps doing what he has to do, you know. And his powers are sick. They're sick, you know. He's
super
got
sick, super interesting.
Spidey sense, super strength, the web slinging. Like it's pretty sick overall. I'm a big fan of Spider-Man.
Great choice off the top of your head. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
And okay, I want to hear your answer. But there's a whole argument that I've had with multiple people about which superheroes are actually superheroes versus who's potentially, you know, an alien or just like a rich guy in a suit or like these kinds of things, right?
Dude, I don't know. This is why I can't keep track of all these celebrities and superheroes and things. I'm just like, I can't get involved in this. There's going to be arguments. There's going to be definitions, and people are, you know, a real superhero, all these things. And I was going to ask, you know, I think the normal question might be, who's your favorite Spider-Man? Which is the real Spider-Man to you? I just don't care.
Oh, I don't know about that really. You know?
Our audience might.
Yeah. There's definitely some people with some strong Spider-Man opinions. Some strong.
How many? You don't care who the. You're not gonna.
I mean, I grew up with
favorite.
I grew up with Peter Parker. You know, I grew up with the
cartoon.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of the cartoon when I was a kid, when I was at friends' houses, because it was always on cable. Tobey Maguire, obviously grew up watching him as the first live action Spider-Man. I love Tom Holland as Spider-Man. I also really love the animated ones. The Into the Spider-Verse, I think, are super cool. They open up a ton of new things, and they give a whole bunch of different representation with Miles Morales. I think it's really cool. But I've always watched the Peter Parker Spider-Man, and so that's what I have. You know, I'm sentimental towards.
For sure.
Yeah. But
agreed.
What about you? What superhero would you be?
I don't know if he's actually a superhero.
I'll tell you.
But he. yeah, dude. Make sure you categorize my superhero.
Yeah, I'm gonna analyze.
Let me know where he falls.
I'm gonna analyze your choice.
That's why we're here.
I'm not gonna judge you, but I am gonna analyze your decision.
Man, this episode is huge. My superhero may not be a superhero. Hercules.
Oh. Whoa.
Kind of a superhero. Yeah, you know, I vibe with the Greek thing. I'm half Greek, and I'm like, okay, Hercules is Greek, and I just love the story of Hercules. There's a few different versions. There's like the Disney version. There's the Greek mythology version, and in each version, I'm just like, you're pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a sick choice.
Yeah, like part human, part god. Got the whole vibe going on. Some drama.
Yeah,
really strong. No one really accepts him that much. Like in his friends and like the humans and things, are like, whoa, you're way too strong, get out of here.
Right.
And the gods are like, you're not strong enough.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. So,
man, that's a cool choice.
And I'm half Greek, and I was like, cool. And I went to Greece a few times. I've seen some statues of Hercules in general. I'm like, okay, cool. You know, not that I have the body type of Hercules, but we might share some genetics. So like, cool. Maybe that's something I could strive for, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And something about me is that my pinky toes don't touch the ground.
Oh.
So if you can imagine my foot laying flat on the ground, all four of my toes are touching. The pinky is up, fancy.
Interesting.
Yep.
Dude,
so my pinky toe does not touch the ground.
That's demigod behavior.
You see? But I was looking around, and at first I was like, dang, this is a weird thing. I don't really like this. I got to cover my pinky toes, no one look. But the people who have their pinky toes raised, I'm in a special group here.
Sure are.
Hercules, dude. Hercules.
Whoa.
I looked at his statue, and a lot of Greek statues, pinky toes don't touch.
Whoa.
So like, okay. Someone else whose pinky toes don't touch? LeBron James.
Oh, the god.
You see?
That's wild.
I don't know if he's part of Greek mythology as well, but
wow.
Yeah.
Actually, I just saw a picture of LeBron James's feet, and they are wild. He's got some crazy
Those
crazy
pinky
dogs.
toes don't touch.
Yeah.
Those pinky toes
Oh,
do not
man.
touch. So
Whoa.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good to know.
So-
Dude, I wanna rewatch those Hercules movies.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
Actually, dude, another slept on kids movie, real quick. Maybe you've seen it, is The Emperor's New Groove. Dude, so good. I love that movie.
It's been a while for me, and I do remember it being amazing.
We should watch it. We should watch it together and do like a little reaction.
Okay.
It's so good, dude. It's so good. I quote it more than I ever thought I did. Like, I'll just be like quoting it and not realizing. Like, for a long time, I hadn't seen it in like a decade, and I was quoting it, and I was like, "What is that even from?"
What is the quote that? What's your go-to? What's your go-to Emperor's New Groove quote?
I'll mail it to myself and smash it with a hammer. Or catch myself saying that, or Cusco's poison, the poison for Cusco.
That was really good. That was really
man.
good.
Thanks, man.
Whoa.
I sometimes I can hit that one, sometimes I cannot. So we'll see if
solid.
it actually is good in the recording. But
We'll see how
I
the
appreciate it.
processing turns out.
Yeah. Yeah,
That was great.
Yeah, that movie's great. Shout out Emperor's New Groove.
Yeah. We a few people have asked. We should probably do a full episode on movies and TV in general, just like maybe nostalgic movies, favorite movies in general.
That'd be
some
super
quizzes.
fun. That'd be super fun.
Some ideas around
Cool.
there for sure.
I'll take that one on.
Cool.
And
Lead
bring
that
some
for
stuff
sure.
for you. Yeah.
I am I'm historically not very pop culture focused
Yep.
or oriented.
Yeah. It's all good, man. We'll get you.
Great way to say that.
We'll get you what you need. We'll get you what you need.
What you need.
Nice.
Oh no. Even in this episode I had a bad reference. We'll see.
It's okay, man.
We'll see.
It's all right.
A botched reference.
Sheryl Crow sings Unwritten. It could be.
Sheryl Crow sings
Here, I'll ask. I can ask one more, and before we decide to move along here.
Chill.
Okay, you're a gardener, so I'm gonna put the pressure on for a good answer here.
Okay.
What if you had to be a vegetable? What vegetable would you be?
Oh man, definitely.
Or a fruit? Like any
Yeah. Any growing.
This was actually
grown.
from this is a listener question, but it was from the time when we didn't write down any names. So if you ask, it was probably Lucy. I feel like it was probably Lucy. If you could be any vegetable, what vegetable would you be? But we'll expand it to any like fruit or vegetable thing you could grow in a garden. Let's say that anything you can grow in your garden.
Cool. What garden item would I be? What garden vegetable? Could it be a flower?
Sure.
Interesting. I can go to my favorite vegetable pretty quickly, or I can go to my favorites pretty quick, but which one would I be? I think I have to say cucumber.
Oh, cool.
Just the versatility, the crunch, just the vibe. It's pretty cool,
And they grow on vines? They kind of hang down, or do they?
Yeah, they grow on vines. They're technically in the melon family, I believe.
Oh, right. Okay.
Like a zucchini, cucumber, melons.
That's squash. They're all
squash.
The same? Okay.
I believe a squash is a type of melon, or they're vining. I could be wrong. I'm not really like a. It's funny when I plant my garden. People are like, "What variety of this are you growing?" And I'm like, "I literally have no idea. I put a seed in the ground."
So a squash is not considered a type of melon.
Okay.
Although both belong to the same plant family, melons are a smaller, more specific group within this larger family, while squashes are another distinct group.
So I'm not getting into the specifics.
Sure.
I'm saying generally.
Yeah.
Generally, the squash family.
They like grow similarly. So I feel like you're on the right track.
Yeah, and I like to trellis them so that they can grow up something and then hang down.
That's super cool.
Just a good vibe. They provide shade.
Did you do that with your cantaloupes this year too?
Yeah, I've done that with cantaloupes. I've done that with watermelons. Actually, the watermelons, I put them in pantyhose.
Cool.
Little sections of pantyhose. I would cut off like the foot of a pantyhose and then put it around the watermelon, tie it up on the trellis, and then as the watermelon grows, the pantyhose expands and it gets fancy.
That's cool. That's super funny.
It just holds it on the trellis so the vine
for
doesn't
sure.
break.
Because I was picturing they just like would like fall off or something, but if you give them that extra support, then they can actually like grow to be a decent size.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can also you can either do the pantyhose method, which is like a little bit more fancy, a little bit like or you can do like the rope method and you just tie some ropes. It's like a little more difficult.
Sure, pantyhose is way chiller.
Yeah, way chiller, way more fancy.
Oh man, my belly is rumbling. I don't know if
Dang, you hungry?
I think so. I also ate a lot of cheese today.
Oh, here he goes.
I'll be good. I'll be good.
First blow up, first poop break of the podcast.
No. I think it is hunger. I don't think it's poop. I'm old enough to know the difference.
Nice. Something popped in my head and I didn't get to cover it. What do you think you've ever taken any big risks? What's the biggest risk you've ever taken?
Oh man.
Or maybe not the biggest risk you've ever taken, but what's a large risk that you maybe generally have put yourself into, or like a bet that you've taken?
Yeah, I feel like I've made like a lot of dumb choices that were risky. You know,
Okay.
Like I feel like I've like done a lot of things that were dumb. That could be like, yeah, but I don't think bad choices and risks are necessarily the same, right? Like you're talking about like a choice you made knowing it was a risk.
There you go.
And you kind of had to like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think dropping out of school to work at outdoor school was a pretty big risk I took.
Right on.
Yeah, I mean that was like it was something I really wanted to do, and I felt really passionate about it, and I had a lot of people in my life telling me not to do it, you know, or like not telling me not to do it, but like encouraging me not to do it.
Sure.
Because it would like not send me down a path of like traditional success. You know, this is a great question, by the way.
For sure.
And I think that's probably like the greatest like risk. Like when I think about risk and like, you know, potential failure or potential mess up, you know, I feel like taking the risk to like be a parent or to like, you know, buy a car, you know, like I'm thinking about like loans too. There's like the whole risk thing.
Yeah.
But then I've like done a lot of challenge course stuff, and we talk a lot about like risk with that and like risk management and all those types of things. And I've made some like really bad. I made a couple of really bad mistakes doing that work, but that wasn't like a risk I chose to make. You know, like I put people in risky situations, but that was just more like I don't want to say incompetence, but like
unknowing risk.
Yeah, but anyways, yeah, not incompetence, but more like just not being thorough, you know. But anyways, yeah, I think taking that job, deciding to drop out of school and follow like the only passion I'd really known at that point was a risk.
That's a really good answer. That's a really good answer. That is a risk, especially when you have people in your life telling you like, maybe you shouldn't do that, or
yeah,
follow the path that you're expected to follow. So, you know, deviating off of that is a risk too. And I think that's the same for me. Something similar was just starting a business was a big risk.
Definitely.
And acknowledging that I want to work for myself. And luckily Kate was such a big support to be like, it is risky, but we got it. We're going to make it work. So go for it. And I was like, okay, let's dive in. Let's make a living on our own. And it's been such a learning curve. It's been like ebbs and flows, huge, but I feel like it's finally stabilizing a bit. And I'm really just acknowledging, I have everything I need.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. I feel like you took that risk and then like really, like, first of all, you were in a place where you felt like you could, and you like had the support too, you know?
Yep.
And then it really took you for like multiple different rides, like big highs, big lows.
Yeah.
And I feel like now you're at a place where you're like fully in control of the reins of what your business looks like, and when you do your business and when you don't do your business, and how big your business is or how small you want it to be, you know?
I'm glad it looks that way.
Yeah, I mean, right now it feels like you're in control of it to a certain extent. I feel like
definitely
if you wanted to
more
do
than ever.
more, you definitely could.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
But you've done that, and so you don't necessarily want to, based on how things have been in the past and what you feel like you're needing right now. That's my analysis of your business, but as a close friend of yours. But I've always really admired your ability to like take risks, knowing that things might not work out the way you want them to. I think we've talked about that on a previous episode, but I don't know if it made it to air. I feel like I remember having this conversation with you where I was like, man, you just feel so like your life feels so free, and you're not like tied down by needing this job or that job, because you can just kind of, you have like a certain set of skills that just translate to a bunch of stuff. Like if you wanted to go get an actual job, dude, they're like, so you could get a job doing so many different things with the skill sets you have, you know?
Yeah. I think you're right. I mean,
dude, I could call 10 people right now and get you a job.
Literally.
You know, if you were like, shit, I need a job because this isn't working out. Like your field specifically, you know, like, I mean, I've helped you get work with your business before, like your actual business. But if you were like, shit, I need a job, I could call a bunch of people and be like, hey, I know this guy, he's super good at what he does, he's trustworthy, yada, yada, yada. And you could have an interview like 2 days later, you know, but you don't need that.
And thanks, man. I really appreciate that. It's been like you said, it's been a lot of severe highs, severe lows, and I'm finally at the point where I'm like, I do feel way more in control. Like before, the business was really controlling me, and now I'm like, oh, it comes back to where we put our attention. I was making myself busy and crazy without even realizing it, and being like, oh, I should just chill. I don't need to make myself this busy. I don't need to work 60 hours a week. I don't need to be doing all this. Like, for what? Let's have intention. Let's have like a specific goal, and remember that we need to take care of ourselves first.
Yeah.
Before working, you know.
Dude, this is definitely something I've learned about you. That like, that is like I feel like a mentality you have kind of in everything you do, is like sometimes until you like learn to control or be okay being out of control, I feel like you are someone who just like dives into things and kind of can let that thing lead you, because you're just so excited or like passionate about whatever you're doing that you don't realize you've like gone into this rabbit hole, you know, or you've like gone down this path into the woods and you didn't leave any breadcrumbs behind you, you know. You're like, oh shit. And that's kind of like what like when I think about some of your previous businesses, you were like, I want to be a good business owner, so I want to do like this and this, without like thinking about what the branches of that tree would end up like twigging out to, you know. Like I have like this idea, but I'm not necessarily I'm going to do it without like thinking about like 2 or 3 steps ahead, which is hard to do, but like really good successful business owners do that, you know.
Totally.
At least when they're trying to grow the way that you were trying to grow, you know.
And realizing what that choice and step is going to result to, or what that actually means.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I feel that on this podcast sometimes we're like you have a big idea and I'm like, hold on, you know. And I also feel, and we've definitely talked about this before, where I am the exact opposite, where I'd rather hold us back until I know exactly what's going to happen, which is almost an impossible thing to do, right? Like you're never going to know exactly what's going to happen, you know? So it's,
of course,
interesting.
Uncertainty is life.
Yeah. Yep. Right. The only constant is change. So it's like this hard, we've definitely said it before. We're like a really good balance there, where it's like, I love it. And I'm trying to like grasp on to your like jump on the horse and just like ride away, when I'm like, I don't actually know if I know how to put the saddle on, you know, like.
Yeah. And I am trying to control it to the point where like I got a horse that's ready to run, and I want to make sure it's a direction that we want to go together.
Yes, dude.
Let's actually decide where this horse is going to go before we jump on it running.
Yep.
That's the part that I really love to do and like am passionate about. And lots of people struggle with that. Like I really struggle with making an agenda and like sticking to it and following it and sticking to like a detailed plan, because for me, I'm just like, let's get the excitement and just go with it.
Right.
It doesn't even matter what the plan is. It doesn't matter where we're headed. It doesn't matter, you know, and that can sometimes work out really awesome. And it can sometimes get me to a place. Where is that horse going to take us? And do we want to be there once we get there?
Yep.
And I can have this mentality sometimes of, doesn't matter where we're going to go, because we can always make it okay. If the horse took us way off to the middle of Antarctica, the biggest desert, we'd figure it out. It would be fine.
Yeah.
It might be entertaining. I mean, sure, it'd probably be really painful.
Yeah.
There would be some things that are uncomfortable about it, but I think there's some stuff there that we could, we'll make the best of it. But
yeah.
in reality, we probably don't want to do that.
For sure. For sure. That's a really good way to put it, right? Like, we might get there and get a bunch of frostbite, and maybe it's not where we wanted to go. But we ended up doing it, and now we know that's not where we want to be. You know? Yeah. Oh, man. Sick.
Whoa.
Glad to be riding next to you, bro.
Hell yeah. Let's go, man.
Oh, man. That seems like a good place to kind of say goodbye, and a good thought. And
I think so too.
Yeah, I'm really loving having this podcast with you, and I feel like this friendship and this connection is relatable to folks. And so, if you're still here and you're still listening, we really appreciate you. We're down to ride this horse with you.
Yes.
So please stick around. If you want to help us water and feed this horse, go ahead and follow us on our socials, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and then you can also find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well. And if you listen to podcasts somewhere else, let us know, and we'll try to get it there as well.
Hell yeah. Well said, dude. We love you guys so much. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
And love you, Ethan. Man, this is great.
Man. Dude, love you, Heath. And it's still so weird that you call me Ethan so much.
Oh, yeah.
Just because I'm so used... We talked about this a little bit, but I'm so used to being called Gumby or Gum by everybody. So I was just kind of thinking about that the other day. So, but I like it. Don't stop it. Don't stop.
No, for sure. Oh, man. Language.
Man. Yeah. Well, thanks for being here, everybody. Stick around and stay tuned.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Peace.